Hello everybody and welcome back to a PSVR2 news recap, where today we have a lot to go over. A lot's happened over the last week or so and it's time to round it all up, from the news that you may have heard to the news that you probably haven't. So let's kick things off with a bang, or with a full, should I say, as Human Full Flat VR has been announced. Human Full Flat has been a flat screen game for a very long time, utilizing a physics-based puzzle system for quite funny results. Think of Gang Beasts, but more of a narrative story thing where you've got to complete levels. It's unclear how the VR implementation may work, but it seems that you may be using your hands to control your character from a third-person view, judging on the mod that this is based on. But it's really exciting news to see a successful flat screen game like this be brought into the VR scene through a mod, which is how a lot of these things start. You see somebody modding it and the developers catch wind of that, really like the idea, and in this case they've been brought on board. I believe the mod also works at flat to VR at the moment, I want to say, but the rights to their Human Full Flat mod was bought by the devs and now it's on the way here, which I'm really excited for. A funny game and also a recognizable game, which is always a good thing for VR. Next up, the developer for Cactus Cowboy, which, if you remember, did launch on PSVR2. Both the first game, which is free, and the sequel, which is paid, has been working night and day to get the adaptive triggers working on PC, which is amazing. They caught wind of the adaptive triggers being able to be configured through an application on Steam, and now I think they're trying to implement that into their game Cactus Cowboy. As we said leading up to the launch of PSVR2 on PC, if these features were available from Sony, which they're not, but they are actually available to implement, as we can see here, it's up to each developer to do that individually, and that's not really something that's going to happen too often, only in small cases. And here's one. This is fantastic. It's great to see a dev bring this on board and testing it out, so that's exciting news. Next up, the highly rated and highly successful Max Mustard can now be pre-ordered. This is our VR answer to Astrobot, a similar style platformer, not with the massive budget of Astrobot of course, but one that has been highly praised across the board, has got rave reviews from critics and from normal players as well, and I'm really excited to get my hands on the PSVR2 version. They've been showing it off over the last couple of weeks, how enhanced it looks compared to a couple of the other versions, and honestly, looks great. I've been looking at Astrobot and being like, I wish we got an Astrobot game in VR, and of course this isn't Astrobot, but it's the closest thing we can get, and we'll probably scratch that itch for a lot of people, including me, so you can go ahead and pre-order that now if you'd like to. The developer of Cyube VR, if you remember, this was a very impressive visual showcase that has a load of replay value in terms of what you can build and create in this Minecraft-like VR game. They've announced that the game will be receiving a PS5 Pro enhancement, which is, I think, the first mention of that we've got at all from any developer. The developer said on Reddit, I can also tease that around the release of the PS5 Pro, there will be another update specifically for that, adding a PS5 Pro mode with improved graphics to fully make use of what the console can do. As you know, I very much love good graphics, so always ensure that Cyube VR looks as impressive as possible on any given hardware. It should always be the perfect game to showcase awesome graphics on PSVR2. And to be honest, yeah, I think this is the first PS5 Pro Enhanced game on PSVR2 that we have got confirmed. It seems that you can just make a mode for PS5 Pro and switch over to that, so hopefully other developers follow suit. We can get some other unreprojected titles. The big ones though, of course, are Sony. Please get Polyphony Digital and Capcom to add 90 FPS modes to Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil. That would be fantastic, but this is very good first steps to see Cyube and the developer, who is ahead as always in terms of this technology stuff, bringing it in for the first time, so that's exciting. The developers of Phasmophobia, the long-awaited ghost hunting co-op game, coming over to PSVR2, as they have specifically mentioned PSVR2 recently, so that is still confirmed, have said that the pre-orders will open soon. So if you've been itching to get your hands on Phasmophobia or weren't sure if it would even launch this year, all signs point to yes. I can't say anything really in terms about the release. Even if I knew, I'm sure it'd be under some sort of embargo, but at the moment can't say anything in terms of specific dates, but they said around the Halloween period, so we're getting closer and closer to that all the time. Two PSVR2 games dropped this week as well, which was Dead Second, which seems to be a pretty simple but fun on rails shooter. So if you're looking for something like that and like the look of the trailer on screen right now, go take a look. And Crimen, Mercenary Tales, comes in at about $30 and hasn't really got great reviews at all. But you're seeing footage on screen of that now if you'd like to take a look. But from what I'm hearing, you slash your way through eerie temples, shipwrecks, and castles while wielding weapons from the 17th century. But yeah, from what I've heard, both the Quest and PSVR and Steam version are fun, but maybe not worth this price point, as I think we have got a $15 price hike compared to Quest for the PSVR2 version, but that did come out just recently. Chernobyl Again also dropped. I haven't got around to reviewing this one. I do actually have a code on Steam. Thank you to Brian from PSVR2 Without Parole. Managed to hook me up with one of those. I do need to get around to playing it. Unfortunately, from what I've heard, it's not been fantastic at launch. There have been some issues. Apparently the game looks great, which is pleasing to hear, but other aspects of it like interactions, gameplay, and pushing the narrative along apparently haven't really been great. But I don't think the PSVR2 version is meant to be great either, but I will eventually get around to it. Unfortunately, all my time right now is tied up with Into the Radius, which is our penultimate point. Into the Radius is coming out fairly soon. Be hyped for that. You can pre-order it. I will be doing coverage of it as it comes out. If you do want to get hands-on with some gameplay before launch, that will be available on the channel. Can't say anything about the port just yet, but be excited for that one. And finally, Bulletstorm is adding a Horde mode. They said on their Twitter, the Horde has awoken. Fight waves of enemies and prepare the Murder Dome to your liking in Horde mode, a brand new game mode coming to Bulletstorm VR. These guys have been improving the game time and time again since launch, and you can see the trailer playing on the screen right now. It looks like a very Bulletstormy affair to give you some replay value on top of the main campaign. Honestly, so happy with the improvements they've done to this game, making it look and play the part, and anything more is just icing on top, and this certainly is that. So well done to the devs for that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you to our patrons and YouTube members who have shrunk as of today. And that should be Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Azit Mirza, Ace Gamer, Heavy Pickle, Jin 007, A License to Chill, Sun WTF, Fat Controllers, Jason Parker, Lamar Hall, Geordie Bansma, Lemon64K, Outcast VR, Prophecy 777, and Gundy Gundy. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.